டிஎம்கே ஸ்டாலின்.
என்னுடைய ஓட்டு உதயசூரி தான்.
எனக்கு ஓட்டு எலெக்ஷன் அப்போ வந்துச்சோ அப்போத்துலேருந்து நான் ரட்டையால் தான்.
டிவிகே
டிஎம்கே
இந்த தடவை கண்டிப்பாக மாற்றி தான் போடுவோம்.
ஒரு மாற்றம் வேணும்ல நமக்கு.
இட்ஸ் மேட் லவ்.
ஒன்னு டிவிகே ஒன்னு டிஎம்கே.
விஜய்க்கு ஓட்டு போடுறேன்.
Hello and welcome to Countdown Tamil Nadu. We've been on the road in various parts of the states and talked to a number of people, and this is a very complex election. Is there anti-incumbency or is there not? Does a new candidate have real star power that will convert into votes or not? Are women upset about issues of safety, or are they happy with the handouts they're getting? Is there caste? Does caste matter in Tamil Nadu or not? There are various complex issues and we'll look at them in depth, and these brilliant minds will give you the answer about who's winning. But first let's have a look at whether is there anti-incumbency in Tamil Nadu. So if you look at elections over the last 40 plus years in Tamil Nadu, there's been massive anti-incumbency. Once it was Jayalalitha, next election she was thrown out, Karunanidhi came in, then he was thrown out, then Jayalalitha came back. It just went on and on, in, out, in, out, in, out. Huge anti-incumbency. Except for the election before last, which Jayalalitha won 2 consecutive and broke that record. Now, Stalin's in power. Will he do the same? Will he win the next election? Or will anti-incumbency work? Actually, if you look at the different kinds of anti-incumbency, there's really anti-incumbency for governments, strong anti-incumbency of governments. There's a 27% chance of being voted back. In other words, a 73% chance of being kicked out. With MLAs, sitting MLAs, it's a marginal anti-incumbency. 41% of MLAs come back into the assembly. That means 59% do not return. That's also anti-incumbency, but not as strong as governments being thrown out. The key question here is that anti-incumbency was strong when there were 2 parties, the DMK and AIADMK. Now there's a major third force emerging, Vijay, the star, the superstar. He has huge rallies and huge emotion and enthusiasm. But the question is, will that be converted into votes? And will it divide the anti-incumbency vote, which was earlier would have gone all to the AIADMK? So will Vijay cut into the AIADMK vote? We asked a lot of voters in villages and towns, what is the mood today? And there was an indication of a mood for change, but some of that, or a lot of that, was not going to the AIADMK, it was going to Vijay. So that's the key. Even if there's a mood for change and anti-incumbency, that anti-incumbency may well be split down the middle. That's a key factor that could help the DMK. We went to a bellwether constituency called Tirupurur. Bellwether meaning whoever won the seat in Tirupurur also won the state assembly election at the overall state level. 9 out of the last 11 elections, the same winner. That's why it's called bellwether. Listen to what they had to say.
விஜய் எம்ஜிஆர், அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் ஜெயலலிதா. அவங்கெல்லாம் எம்ஜிஆரை வச்சு போடுவோம் நாங்கள், அந்த சின்னன்றதுனால.
ஏடிஎம்கே.
ஏடிஎம்கே விஜய்க்கு ஓட்டு போடுவியா, ஸ்டாலின் ஓட்டு போடுவியா? விஜய்க்கு தான் ஃபுல்லாக. விஜய் விஜய் தான் ஃபுல்லாக, ஃபுல் ஃபேமிலியும் விஜய் தாங்க. டிஎம்கே வந்து டேடி மம்மி அவங்களாம், யங் பாய்ஸ் எல்லாமே டிஎம்கேலாம் கிடையாது, விஜய் ஒன்லி.
தமிழ்நாடு டிவிகே ரெட்டையில டிஎம்கே ஏடிஎம்கே இல்லை நோ. டிஎம்கே ஏடிஎம்கே போட்டு நம்மளுக்கு எந்த பிரயோஜனமும் இல்லை. நாங்கள் கஷ்டப்பட்டு தான் ஆட்டோ ஓட்டுறோம். எங்களுக்கு கேஸ் ரேட்டு அதிகமாக இருக்குது. பஸ்ஸு ஃப்ரீ பஸ் விட்டாங்க, எங்களால் எதுவுமே சமாளிக்க முடியல. அதனால தான் புது ஆட்சி ஓட்டோன்னு சொல்லிட்டு நாங்கள் ஓட்டு போடுறோம். புது ஆட்சி எலெக்ஷன் வந்து எங்கெல்லாம் வந்து கொஞ்சம் பார்க்கணும். இந்த ஆட்சி அவர் சரியில்லைன்னா அடுத்த ஆட்சியில் நாங்கள் ஆளை மாற்றிப்போம்.
5 ஆண்டு திமுக தமிழ்நாடு குட்டி சோறாக்கி வச்சுக்கிறான். ஒரு பொம்பளோட நிம்மதியாக வாழ முடியல. வேற ஆட்சி எது வந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல, அண்ணா திமுக விஜய் ரெண்டுல எது வந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல.
ஆட்சி மீறி துட்டு கொடுத்து வாங்கிட்டாலும் வாங்கிக்கலாம். யார் எவ்வளோ கொடுக்குறாங்க அமௌண்ட் அந்த பக்கம் சாஞ்சிடுறாங்களே.
வருஷமா வந்து எலெக்ஷன் அவர் இது பண்ணிக்கிறாரு. புதால் வந்து மக்களுக்கு நல்லதாக பண்ணுறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவங்க இது பண்ணுறாங்க. நாடு விஜய்க்கு பண்ணலாம்.
So there's clearly some anti-incumbency which is normal actually in most elections. But how will it work out in the final result, you feel?
Very clearly, Vijay is the X factor in this particular election. Whose vote he is going to eat into is the big question. Whether it's the AIADMK alliance or the DMK alliance, that is the big thing. And whether what we are seeing on the ground, this huge fan swell, whether it is capable of getting translated into votes on that particular day, that is going to be the big question that will determine which way this election goes.
Right. Dorab, in all your studies, anti-incumbency is a normal factor in elections. Maybe here's a little higher than normal, but it's across India.
You know, this is the first time that a party has lost Lok Sabha 19, Assembly 21, Lok Sabha 24. And EPS has lost a number of its lieutenants. So one doesn't know. I have not been in the field, as you know, I've come later. But I don't know the extent of the anti-incumbency. And also in Vijay's case, as we were talking to somebody else the other day, he said, you got to get the people into the booths. How many are registered? Do they know what their booths are? So you need an enormous infrastructure of people to get people to the booths, identify where they are, because most of us...
That's where cadre-based parties gain,
Yes, that's right. The younger people who have just registered may not even know where the booth is or whether they're registered.
Right. Shikha, what did you feel? You talked to hundreds of people. What's the overall mood you feel of this election?
So, yes, I think the mood is for change. There is anti-incumbency. And whenever they talk of change, they don't really talk of AIADMK, but they talk of Vijay. Now, as the DMK leaders, more the DMK leaders and the AIADMK are at pains to emphasize the fact that this does not necessarily mean that he will get votes, you know, because these are fans and it does not translate into votes. And while some of the young people said, you know, we are going to vote for him and we will try and convince our parents and the elders in our family also to vote for him.
Yeah.
We also met a young girl and her mother in a village where the young girl, she's an IT professional, and she says, I'm going to vote for Vijay, I want change. And the mother immediately pointed out that you have become an IT professional because of the scholarship given to you by the DMK.
Right.
So she said she was going to vote for the DMK.
I love that phrase, which those people who said mummies and daddies vote for DMK, but we vote for Vijay. But the key point is how much of this anti-incumbency will be split. It's the index of opposition unity. If Vijay gets half the anti-incumbency and AIADMK gets the other half, that helps the DMK enormously. If one goes up and the other goes down, that goes against the DMK. So it's a really, really fascinating election. How Vijay is going to split.
Love. அப்போ mad love ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, but now it's become into a fandom into votes into is going to be a scene. அவ்வளவுதான்.
TVK.
முன்ன ஜெயலலிதா வந்தாங்க, மக்களுக்காக அவங்க இருந்தாங்க. விஜயகாந்த் அண்ணாவும் இருந்தாங்க, அவங்களும் மக்களுக்காகன்னு வந்தாங்க. இப்போ அவங்க இல்லாதனால தான் விஜய் அண்ணா வந்திருக்காருன்னு நாங்கள் நினைக்கிறோம். அவரும் செய்யணும்னு நினச்சிருக்கிறாரு, அவருக்கு தான் போடணும்.
If we give one chance, so we can see what is going to happen in next 5 years. So we can give him a chance to do.
அவர் வந்தா நல்லது. எங்க வீட்ல 20 ஓட்டு இருக்கு. அவருக்கு தான் ஆனா மெயினா
TVK.
எஸ்.
DMK.
நான் வந்து விஜயோட ஃபேன். எனக்கு விஜய் ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். பட் அவர் அரசியலுக்கு வரதுன்றது எனக்கு பிடிக்கல. நடிகர் அப்படின்ற பதவியை வந்து அவர் இழந்துடுவாரோ அப்படின்ட்டு எனக்கு ஒரு தாட். அதான் வேற எதுவும்.
ஒருத்தரை வந்து நம்ம பிடிச்சி பண்ணுறோன்னா அவர் என்ன பண்ணாலுமே நம்ம சப்போர்ட்டாக நிற்கணும் அப்படின்னு தான் நான் நினைக்கிறேன். சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுவேன், கண்டிப்பாக விஜய்க்கு சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுவேன்.
ஒரு மாற்றம் வேணும்ல நமக்கு.
தலைவர் விஜய்க்கு டிவிக்கு
எங்க அண்ணங்க நாங்க போடுறோங்க. அவர் வருவாருங்க, சிஎம் வருவாருங்க. அவர் எங்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் நல்லது செய்வார். நன்மைக்காக நாங்க போடுவோங்க. ஆட்சி வரணும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஓட்டே தலைவருக்கு தான். நல்லா பெட்டரா ஃபீல் பண்றாங்க. நான் விஜய் வந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும்னு ஃபீல் பண்றாங்க.
எப்படி பசங்க நம்ம எல்லாம் எப்படி பண்ணுறோமோ யோசிச்சுட்டு பண்ணுவோம். ஆனால் எங்கள் ஸ்டைலில் விஜய்.
நான் இந்த தடவை எல்லா கட்சிக்கும் ஓட்டு போட்டேன். இந்த தடவை கண்டிப்பாக ஒரு மாற்றத்துக்கு தான் ஓட்டு போடுவேன். கண்டிப்பாக
இவர் செய்வாருன்னு நாங்கள் நம்புகிறோம். எங்களோட மனசு சொல்லுது நம்புவாருன்னு. அதான் ட்ரஸ்ட்டு தான், வேறு வழி கிடையாதுல்ல.
தளபதி வரட்டும், அதான் நான் எங்களோட ஆசை. ஆமா, என்ன பண்றாருன்றது முக்கியம் இல்லை.
ஜனத்துக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும்.
ஆமா, விஜய் இளஞ்செய ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும் எல்லாருக்கும். அவர் நல்லது பண்ணுவார்னு உறுதியாக நம்புறாங்க. அதனால தான் வந்திருக்காங்க. அவர் ஓட்டுக்கு வரணுங்க, அவர் முதலமைச்சராக வரணுங்க.
I'm only saying that DMK has been there all the time. AIADMK, they've also been there, but they don't have a leader. Vijay's party is new. He's a leader, but they don't have the backup. So, I mean, these two parties have always been there. They have the infrastructure, but Vijay's party, they've got a leader, but they don't have the infrastructure. So it's up to the people in the end.
You know, every 2-3 decades, a star comes in Tamil Nadu horizon. This time is Vijay. Now, what do you think his impact will be on the electoral horizon, on you and on the AIADMK?
See, you cannot compare Mr. Vijay to Mr. MGR.
No, MGR another class.
He comes from a political background. Mr. Vijaykanth, and Mr. Kamal Hassan.
Huge rallies, they've seen huge rallies of his.
He is a big star. I cannot deny the fact that Vijay is a big star, and people definitely would want to go and see him. If BTS comes to India, I am sure the crowds will be really, unmanageable. But does it mean that it's going to convert to votes? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
And if it does, do you think it will hurt you more or hurt the AIADMK more?
See, I think we have to wait for the elections and count the votes, and then only we'll be able to say that. But I really don't see, their cadres on the field, because I've been traveling across Tamil Nadu and I don't see, TVK members anywhere across in the state, anywhere, in the field, in the ground, doing work or, meeting people or anything for that matter.
In all my speeches, there's no mention about any Vijay.
Oh, you don't? Ben?
No, not one time.
Then he may do very well and that will be...
No, that's the whole point. Like, so DMK is only all out DMK.
Right.
Vijay is a political novice.
But he's got a lot of support.
He's got a fan following.
We go around and
he's got a fan following. The first time voters are oriented towards him. And first time voters are, they are a chunk. I don't call it a major chunk. They are a chunk. And it's like all of them, when we took up our analytic thing, they say that about maybe 42% of the first time voters, they may vote for him. So, but I don't want to break how much ADMK is getting or DMK getting. I don't want to break that into you.
Fine.
But at the same time, Vijay is not being tested. He is a novice in politics. People don't know what he is going to do. He has not stepped foot on the ground till today. He is just campaigning on the buses, outside, all that. Not one step he has set foot on the road from when he launched his party.
That doesn't seem to matter. People all say Matram, Vijay, we want.
That's the whole point. I know. There is a fan following. See, Tamil Nadu movie, politics. They go hand in glove. At the same time, Vijay will take up all the pro-DMK votes.
He is not a competitor to us at all. His party is a party which is a newly sprouted one. And he doesn't have a set principles or ideology, or he had never stated his vision in which way he is going to take Tamil Nadu forward. There will be fascination on a actor, and there will be people will be attracted towards an actor, but that fascination is not enough to fight the elections.
The family wave means every house mother and the own daughter and son and the father, everyone is coming for the change. They want to the change actually. We never spend even 1 rupee money for the gathering for the people. DMK and AIADMK is spending the money, every person 300 rupees, crores money. After 1977, after 50 years, people want to change. Tamil Nadu people, 82% want to change. After Mr. Karnanidhi and Amma Jayalalitha, People wanted the one strong leader and charismatic leader. That's why the Tamil Nadu always based on the leaders from the cinema science actually. People already engage with our leader with love and confidence. Definitely we are going to win with the majority. We'll form the common man government. The monarchy and the Manarachi, Tamil we said Manarachi is over. Tamil Nadu there is no king and kingmaker ever after.
We've seen lots of stars in Tamil Nadu and Andhra. Some of them made it. Of course, some of them made super chief ministers, but others, so many failed, even though they had long list of all the stars, superstars that stood for elections. So many of them failed. What makes some succeed? That means their popularity gets transferred to votes, and what makes some fail?
So we have seen the examples of one N.T. Ramarao who succeeded. Of course, M.G. Ramchandran is the first example when you talk about Tamil Nadu, and you have Jayalalitha who again succeeded after being such a huge film star. One is the capability to stay on, sustain here, and to be able to have a structure that helps you. Both of them had a political initiation before they became big stars as well, whether it's Jayalalitha or an M.G. Ramchandran. In the case of N.T. Ramarao, he used the Telugu Atmagauravam or the pride of Telugu to be able to make that success and make that transition. And the situation at that time was quite peculiar in Andhra Pradesh, that the Atmagauravam is the platform on which he used. This time in Vijay's case, while we are talking about booth level, management may be weak there, and that youngsters are only voting. But the big thing that he has going for him is that they are enthused and they are going to vote in big numbers this time. If youth was never enthusiastic about voting, this time they are voting in big numbers, and he is asking them all to come out and vote, and they are becoming the influencers for the parents to say that I am going to influence my parent to vote for me.
Now, can I suggest the hypothesis on this business? All the people who succeeded, I'm leaving out N.T. Ramarao, he is a sui generis, one of his kind. Every person who's in the entertainment industry, starting with Anna. Anna was mentored by Periyar. I worked with him. Then came Karunanidhi. He was mentored by Anna. Then came MGR. He worked with Karunanidhi. Then came Jayalalitha, who worked with MGR. No person in my experience, except for NTR, has come from nowhere. Even Pavan Kalyan, the first time his story got nowhere.
Yes.
And now he's riding with Chandrababu Naidu. So there is no star except, he was, NTR was in his Chaitanya Ratham acting as Lord Krishna. So he had lots going for him, and you and I remember that very well because of what happened to the poll.
Right.
So we remember that.
No, there was a late swing. Why do you raise these issues?
That was a late swing, actually. But the question is that no other politician, in my knowledge in the South, has made it at first go. He has had to be mentored.
Right.
So I just want to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not going to change these observations.
Yeah.
They are not.
Well, they're very interesting.
So we'll see.
We cannot miss the mention of a Vijaykanth here, who was also a huge star and has such a huge following. And even after his death, people, we spoke to someone who, in fact, said that their family continues to vote for the same party because of the kind of a loyalty. But even he couldn't make it on his own. He tried to emerge as the third force in Tamil Nadu, standing alone, which is exactly what Vijay is doing.
Vijaykanth, Chiranjeevi. We've seen Chiranjeevi with huge crowds spend the evening with him, but then he just
Kamal
didn't
Hassan
make it.
also.
Kamal Hassan a bit different. They say he's a bit too intellectual.
Rajnikant formed a party and closed it down in 2020.
Right.
He actually formed a party.
Exactly. And he is a huge star.
They all had huge audiences, and now they're getting bigger because of the ability for people to travel.
Right.
But I think unlike in the past, whether it was MGR or the others, in Tamil Nadu, they espoused an ideology which was anti-caste, talked about social justice. The focus was on the common man's struggles. Here comes somebody, with the rise of the middle class and education, the aspirations of the people regarding their heroes, I think, changed. So here comes somebody like Vijay, who's cast himself as somebody who's taking on the system, taking on corruption. And I think that is what people are attracted to, this larger than life figure that has come onto the scene.
Yeah.
And in that sense, he's different from the heroes who became politicians or succeeded in politics in the past because of the way he has cast himself in his movies.
He's different, yeah. So to summarize, Vijay definitely has a huge impact in this election. Not just the crowds, just talk to anybody, especially youngsters, and all you hear is Vijay, Vijay, Vijay. That's one. Secondly, he could be the best thing that ever happened to the DMK. If he cuts into the AIADMK vote, and there are other aspects which we shall go into, if he cuts into the AIADMK vote by getting about the same amount, that will help the DMK a lot. Moving on to another key issue that everybody's talking about is the safety of women. The general reaction is that women are not safe. I'm worried about my sister. There's alcohol, drugs, and that's causing people to molest women. It's right across the state. And crucially, the women's vote could be very important. There are more women voters than men. This is the second highest state. Kerala has 2.7% higher women voters than men, and this has Tamil Nadu is 2.2. Bottom of the list are Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. The number of women voters are way below men. 4% less women in Maharashtra and 6.7% less women in Uttar Pradesh. But so far, how have the women voted? Has it affected the election? Well, not really. Men, women support similar votes for both parties. And you can see the figures for men, DMK 46%, AIADMK 41%, women 47%, AIADMK 41%. So what is surprising is that there's this real talk and fear of women's safety becoming an election issue. And on the other hand, if you look at the data by the central government, Tamil Nadu women's safety is the best in India. Tamil Nadu is 23.2% crime per 1 lakh women. And you take Delhi, it's 144 crimes per 1 lakh women. So women are in fact among the safest in India, but it's a major issue across everybody talking about it. So the AIADMK has managed to project something which is not actually based on facts.
It's a centerpiece of their campaign actually. They are targeting this, talking about the safety of women as a major issue during the DMK government and therefore appealing to that. It may be the facts are different, but they have managed to create this narrative, and when you go into the villages, women do talk about this. We must understand that Tamil Nadu is a state where you have the maximum number of women going out to work, whether it is in factories or industries and all that, and therefore they're being mobile and talking about safety is a big issue. In fact, some of them talk about buses being available, the free bus service. They say that's a good thing that they wanted to start, but instead why don't they make us safe? The number of buses that are free for us are very limited.
திமுகவில் வந்து கற்பழிப்பு கொள்ளலாம் நடந்திருக்கு, எதுவும் கண்டுக்கல அவங்க. அதை சின்ன சின்ன குழந்தைங்கள்லாம் கெடுக்கிறானுங்க, அதை பற்றி எதுவும் பேசலை அவங்க. அதனால் அந்த திமுகவை வெறுக்கிறோம் நாங்கள். திமுகன்ற ஒரு கட்சியால் தான் இந்த இது நடக்குது. அவங்க மேலே இடம் சரியில்லை. ஆனால் எடப்பாடியார் வந்தாருன்னா இதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் கண்ட்ரோல் ஆகும்.
குழந்தைங்களுக்கு வெளியே விட்றதுக்கு கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமாக இருக்குது, பயமாக இருக்குது. சின்ன பசங்க ஃப்ரீயாக விளாடின்னு இருந்துங்க அப்போல்லாம், இப்போ வெளியே விட்றதுக்கே கஷ்டமாக இருக்குது.
பாலியல் பலாத்காரம் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு தான் பயந்துட்டு தானே நிறைய பிள்ளைங்க வேலைக்கு வர்றதுக்கு பயந்துக்கிறாங்க.
மகளிருக்கு இப்போ வந்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா மேக்ஸிமம் பாதுகாப்பே இல்லாமல் இருக்க ரோட்டில் போகும்போது. இப்போ ரோட்டில் ஒரு வாக்கிங் போனோம்னாலே சைனா எடுத்துகிட்டு போகிற மாதிரி ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில் நம்ம வெளியே போகவே பயப்படுற மாதிரி ஒரு இதில் தான் இருக்கிறோம் நம்ம.
இப்போ உள்ள நாட்டு நிலைமை வந்து எல்லாத்துக்குமே தெரியும். உரிய பெண்களுக்கு பாதுகாப்பு கிடையாது, சரியான கல்வி கிடையாது, சரியான சாப்பாடு கிடையாது.
ரொம்பவே இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல வரேன் நான். குறைவாக இல்லை, சுத்தமாகவே இல்லை. இங்கே தனியாக பிள்ளைகளெல்லாம் விடுறதுக்கு ரொம்ப இதாக இருக்குது. போதைப் பொருள் அதிகமாகிடுச்சு, பழக்கம் வழக்கம். அதனால் சொல்கிறது தான்.
குழந்தைகளுக்கு மெயினாக பாதுகாப்பு வேணும் எதிர்பார்க்குறேன். எந்த வீட்டிலையுமே வீட்டில் லேடிஸ் குழந்தைகள் பச்சை குழந்தைகள் வச்சுக்கிறவங்க எல்லாருமே மாற்றி தான் போடணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஏன்னா அந்த அளவுக்கு பாதுகாப்பு இல்லாமல் இருக்குது. அது ஒன்று தான் மெயினாக பார்க்குறேன். 2.5 வயசு பிள்ளையிலேருந்து ஒரு 60 வயசு குழந்தை பாட்டி வரைக்கும் எல்லா பிரச்சனையும் இருக்குது.
பிள்ளைகளுக்கு பாதுகாப்பு, பொம்பளை பிள்ளைகளுக்கு பாதுகாப்பு.
First is DMK 5-year-old rule. The major factor is law and order based on women's safety. Not only women but children's safety. Last 5 years, Tamil Nadu has seen 8,700 murders, out of which 2,100 murders were women being murdered, out of which 361 were children. out of which 38 were children raped and murdered. Never has this happened in Tamil Nadu. Every day, 35 children are being abused. But that is only 10%. 90% they don't come out. We don't know. Every day, 25 cases against 25 women are being filed. Out of 62,000 children, cases have been filed against people who have abused 62,000 children in the last 5 years, out of which 27,000 cases are POCSO. Why this is because one side alcohol, another side is drugs, narcotic drugs, substance abuse. And alcohol is rampant here. When DMK took over, 35,000 crores was the revenue of taskmarks. Today is 56,000 crores in 5 years. They have 4,800 taskmark shops. They have 1,500 clubs selling this alcohol and all these things. They have 25,000 Sandukada. Sandukada means shops in between two taskmark shops selling alcohol 24 hours. The same alcohol which you get in the taskmark is sold here. And then you name it, you get this narcotics drugs in Tamil Nadu. Whether it's marijuana, very common here. Whether it is cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, amphetamine, LSD, methamphetamine, what you get in America, you get it here. And when you get it here, I don't see in cities, like in every village you get it here. And the Chief Minister is responsible for the police. It is coming under his control. He absolutely has no clue what is happening.
But how, Shikha, did they manage to go against the reality, which is the safest state in the country, and suddenly women's safety becomes the biggest issue?
I think this narrative has been sort of spread by the AIADMK and the opposition, but
Successfully.
Successfully.
And is the DMK countering it?
Yes, the DMK, for instance, says that the very fact that 41% of women go and work in factories in Tamil Nadu, which is of all factory workers in India, 41% of them are in Tamil Nadu, means that women go out. Now, if they felt unsafe, would they be going out and working in these factories and in these places? They would not. And the other thing I think is that, they have linked it to liquor and to drugs. Everywhere you hear women say, oh, because the consumption of liquor and the use of drugs has gone up in the villages, we feel unsafe.
I mean, these issues do come up in elections. But when the data, when the facts are really completely contrary, does it mean it doesn't really convert into a swing?
Of course not. I think it's what's called a perception issue, as the gentleman said to the other day. So it is perception, not reality. But I think also the fact that MGR and Jayalalitha were the main leaders. It's a softer version. It is not the strong DMK macho party. The position is slightly milder. And I think that could have helped over the years to give the AIADMK a slightly softer image as far as women are concerned in general. Not just women's safety, but we are more kind to women kind of stuff.
The recent case that happened in Thoothukudi, for instance, the teenager being raped and murdered, and that got so much play in the media that it created an emotional connect throughout the state that our young daughter of the house or the woman of the house is not safe when she steps out of the house. So that narrative is what has caught people's imagination about not being safe here.
Yeah, but it's not. It goes against the facts. It is the safest state in the country. That's the contradiction. I'm not sure when something goes against the facts, it turns into an actual vote. Again, just like will Vijay's huge crowds turn into votes, will this propaganda about women turn into votes against the DMK when it's the safest state in the country?
See, if I'm the opposition, it helps me to propagate this. Whether it works or not, we don't know, because it's a good thing for the opposition to be able to propagate. Because nobody's going to say this is the safest state in the country. The government ought to go out to say it. Perhaps people may not even believe it.
Right. And also, if you look at the data about the economy, it's one of the richest states in the country, in the top 5. And everybody's complaining about various aspects. So, as you said, opposition, that's their job, to raise issues. Question is the DMK countering it well enough, particularly on the safety issue?
We are giving people, even yesterday when I was campaigning, I was talking about statistics. comparing it to other states and saying that Tamil Nadu is doing much better, and also that the national average in charge sheeting complaints when it comes to crimes against women, Tamil Nadu is 91%, and the national average is around 70 plus. So we are much better that way also, to see that justice is done. And definitely when people are talking about 66,000 and 32,000, 47,000 in states where BJP is in government, we are talking about it's not an excuse, it's not justified to have even that number. But the crimes which is from the National Bureau of Records, which says a crime against women in Tamil Nadu is all kinds of crimes, is 8,000.
Much lower.
But yes,
the
but
perception seems to be
they have created the perception. And see, Edapadi Palaniswamy, when the Pollachi issue happened, he went all out to protect the perpetrators. But today in Tamil Nadu, the Chief Minister makes sure that when there is a crime which is committed against women, as immediately as possible, the people who've been part of the crime are arrested and justice is done. But still, I think they're not able to say anything against the government, and this is the narrative they've been spreading, BJP and the AIADMK.
Another key issue is the AIADMK tying up with the BJP. Is that a positive or a negative? If you look over several elections, the rise of regional parties across India and in Tamil Nadu has been spectacular compared to national parties. Let's look at the AIADMK plus DMK, two main regional parties in Tamil Nadu. Their vote percentage has shot up over the years. And in contrast, if you look at the national parties here, their vote has declined systematically over the years. So it's a rise of regional parties. So tying up with the national party, is it a good thing or not? We'll come into other aspects of the BJP's image here, which is not exactly the best in Tamil Nadu. One of the key parties that has declined the most here, and everybody knows this, is the Congress. It has been catastrophic. Finally, is this regional party growth only in Tamil Nadu? No, it is right across the country. The center-state relationship, the antagonism between the center trying to exploit states, has meant that regional parties has grown. Just look at this, how much they've grown since 1991. They've shot up. Fastest growing phenomenon in elections today is the rise of regional parties. So Dorab, could this be another error by the AIADMK tying up with the BJP because of the, the Hindi, now the delimitation bill, tying up? I mean, Jayalalitha was totally against it. Everybody is against it, and now EPS has gone and actually tied up. Will that affect their image?
I would think so, merely because, the BJP is seen as a pro-Hindi party, and they're ramming it down the throats. Most of us in other states swallow it a little and spit it out later. But the Tamils have been on this trail since the 1950s. We don't want Hindi. And you bring a party here where, you shove Hindi down. I think I don't know how many votes it's going to cost. And the bill that's just come, which also has Hindi in it, also 3-language formula. Give 3 languages here, 2 languages in the north. It causes the kind of resentment that is very difficult for a party that's very proud of its language. You're not going to a state where the language is new, people are bothered. It's an millennial-old language. So they have enormous pride in their language. And when you try and knock it in any way, they take it very, very personally, and it's got to cost you votes.
Are you saying this Bengali is even better than this or not?
Bengali, it's a problem too. But no, the question is, don't forget, Bengali is a Hindi family language. Indian, this is a separate language. It's a Dravidian language. They don't want to learn.
But
Hindi.
The whole thing about center-state, outsider, is common to both.
Yes.
It doesn't happen in Kerala because it's Congress versus
that's right.
the left. But that factor of center versus state is important, and language plays a very important
And
role
also,
here.
while now lots of people do go to temples. I mean, originally the parties, the DMK, was not a very pro-temple party. They were claimed to be atheist. I wouldn't be surprised Stalin says he's an atheist. So, that to bring the gods and the goddesses is not particularly good for winning votes.
Yeah. So, is it going to harm the AIADMK tying up with the BJP? Although they did get 10% of the vote in the Lok Sabha election, up from 3%, but they generally get about 3%.
In Tamil Nadu, it is the DMK's gain and the AIADMK's loss that they have tied up with the BJP. Right? And that happened already in 2019. Like the margin of victory in 2019 was not because the AIADMK was that unpopular, because we can prove that, because 2 years later in the state election, the same coalition of AIADMK-BJP got 40% of the vote. But 2 years before in the MP election, the same coalition of AIADMK-BJP got only 30% of the vote. Huge difference, 30 to 40. So it is the BJP coalition that makes the AIADMK's credentials of being regional, of protecting states' rights. I mean, again, we take surveys. Our surveys are very clear. The DMK is positive, net positive. That is, do you believe this party will defend states' rights, protect your identity, keep your language? Our net positive may be plus 30 or plus 40 or plus 50 over time. The AIADMK is minus, minus, minus. There are more negatives than positives ever since they aligned with the BJP. When they were not with the BJP, they had decent positive ratings. So that, of course, is a plus to us because they are sacrificing their principles. We don't have to go much further. We say, every time Ms. Jayalalitha spoke, she said, I made the mistake once, I'll not make the mistake again. I will never join with them. And when she was here, she never accepted she didn't accept GST, she didn't accept NEET, she didn't accept Uday scheme, the restructuring of power. So all that, when you had a strong leader and a strong regional party, you could hold your ground. The Chief Minister keeps reframing. What is the phrase, this is an election between Tamil Nadu and NDA or Tamil Nadu and Delhi mean? That is the angle that we are taking from day one. Right? That's every election he says, this is not a normal election. Every rally he says, it's not a normal election. This is an election between Tamil Nadu and Delhi, and Tamil Nadu and NDA, or DMK and NDA. Something to that effect is the tagline of every, rally.
So the central pitch of the DMK here has been Delhi versus Tamil Nadu. And DMK is saying that we are Tamil Nadu, and one was the language issue, second was all the fiscal kind of an inequity in distribution of the resources, which Tamil Nadu has been speaking about again and again, and the finance issues. And the third one, something that has come as almost a gift to the Stalin and to DMK, is this delimitation issue, where he's pitching himself as that man who is capable of articulating the concerns of not just Tamil Nadu but pan-South, all these southern states which are worried and concerned about what is happening through delimitation. And that is why I think in the last days of the campaign, they are focusing so much on this issue of delimitation, saying that we are capable of doing that. He's achieving two things through that. One, he's keeping AIADMK out of the battle. He's pitching it as a DMK versus BJP battle. And TVK somehow gets sidelined because it's we who are capable of looking after the interests of Tamil Nadu.
I think Vijay has sort of been very clever about this. So he's attacking the ideology of the BJP, and the DMK, he's attacking their politics. So he's making it very clear that he follows Dravidian ideology. It's the politics of the DMK that he's against.
He is called the DMK the Tiya Shakti, the evil force. And he has said that BJP is the ideological enemy. Yeah. That's the reason he could not have joined hands with the BJP at the time. This election may have looked very different if TVK, which is Vijay's party, had come together with either an AIADMK, which of course then the leadership issue would have been big. If they had come together with the Congress, that perhaps would have worked much better. He would have had slightly better. Though Congress, of course, is a dying party force with only leaders and no party.
Totally a dying force. Yeah.
And that's why the Congress was so keen at one point to get into an alliance with Vijay and ditch the DMK. It didn't sort of work out, but all the moves were there. The leaders were meeting.
It would have probably worked better for them if they had.
Exactly.
No, the Congress in the same situation as in Bengal. They used to fight more seats in the Lok Sabha, fewer seats in the...
2/3, 1/3, and 1/3, 2/3, yeah.
Slowly what happened is everybody started looking to Delhi. The Congress people started looking to Delhi leaving this place without leadership.
Right.
And now they're paying for it. They're almost a non-existent party.
The other big issue is how important is caste in these elections and in Tamil Nadu elections. Tamil Nadu is in fact a very heterogeneous state when it comes to caste, but everybody lives pretty much in harmony. But there have been anti-upper caste, anti-forward caste, Brahmin, anti-Brahmin movements here, of course. But by and large, religion and caste play a slightly conciliatory role. Just let's have a look at the different castes in Tamil Nadu and are they important in elections? If you look at the major castes in Tamil Nadu, the Vanyas, there's the northwest and the northeast. They're a little different. In both, the Vanyas are around 36-37% of the population, but in the northeast, the scheduled castes are almost 30%, 29%. In the west, the Gaundas dominate with 36%. In the southeast and southwest, the Tevas, and in the southwest, the Nadars are also about 22%. But does this reflect in terms of how voting pattern changes? Just have a look at this. If we look at the macro figures, Tamil Nadu, the DMK has a substantial lead amongst Dalits and Muslims. The ADMK has a slight lead amongst forward and backward castes. Look at that. Forward caste, AIADMK, 45% support. It's not 90-10 or 70-30. It's 45%. And backward caste, OBCs, AIADMK has 48%. Dalits, scheduled caste, the DMK support is 58% and among Muslims, 77%. So there is slight difference in voting patterns among different castes. So caste does have an underlying impact on elections and should not be underestimated. If we look at Tamil Nadu, the electoral regions rather than the administrative regions, much of it is based on caste and urban-rural. Actually, Chennai is urban and it goes completely to the DMK. But look at the northwest, which is the Vanyar West area. There the AIADMK is strong. The Vanyars are 37%. In the northeast, which is also a Vanya area where Vanyars are 37%, nevertheless the DMK sweeps that area, winning 26 out of 32 seats because scheduled castes are 28% in that area. If you look at the southeast, which is 62% rural, the DMK does very well there. And in the southwest, where it's mainly urban, the AIADMK does well. And in fact, in the entire belt along the border with Kerala, it's an urban area and the AIADMK does very well, particularly in the west. The AIADMK does well because it's both Gaunda and urban. That combination gives them a huge lead. Last quick look at the urban areas. You can see there along the west where the AIADMK does well, almost exactly the same areas as the urbanized areas of Tamil Nadu. So while there are all these different castes all across Tamil Nadu, one thing is common. There is a positive swing for the DMK in every single one of these regions. It does vary, but all positive. And exactly the reverse for the AIADMK. There's a negative swing in every single one of these regions, though the degree of the swing does change, but it is negative and DMK positive in every region.
In Tamil Nadu, or maybe all over the country, caste is an everyday factor. It's not just only in politics. It's in a workplace. It's in a go to a restaurant, there is caste. If you go to a petrol pump, there is. So every day from morning to night, it's all caste. And elections is completely caste-based. Even Vijay's party, where Vanyas are predominant, he is given seat to a Vanyar. Where Mudalayars are predominant, he is given seat to a Mudalayar. Where Devas are predominant, he is given seat to a Devar. He can talk about all things outside in the public, but in reality, this is it. DMK has given seats to the predominant caste there. My aim this election, DMK should be dethroned. They are unfit to rule.
DMK votes have been the backward communities and the oppressed communities, both. I won't say any community or any section of society is completely going towards Vijay, because I think people understand that he does not come with any ideological background or core ideology to stand for the people, or at least we haven't been able to figure out what it is till now.
So, Uma, caste does matter, but it doesn't become a major issue in election campaigning like you find in many other states.
What you mentioned about the 1 year being strong in the Northwest, the reason PMK coming together with AIADMK, they say it as a big advantage is because the joining of those forces. You also mentioned about DMK having a vote base among the scheduled castes. The 1 year and scheduled castes have a traditional rivalry in the state. And but the X factor again comes in here, because if it is scheduled caste youth or it is the 1 year youth who are voting are caste agnostic. They are looking at Vijay. This is perhaps the only state where you would find a Vijay who used always Vijay as his screen name, calling himself Joseph Vijay now. And that is not going to matter. So religion also in that sense, I'm saying a Joseph Vijay's religion does not matter to the people of Tamil Nadu, whoever is his fan or whoever is maybe voting for him. That is one thing. The second part is the Tevar in the southern part of the country. The AIADMK was seen to have become a Gounder party with EPS sidelining at TTV, Sasikala out of the party and OPS out of the party, and he realized that it had become his weakness, even though he strengthened it with the Gounder caste base, and that is called the Kungu belt, the western belt, where he has done well, and in fact that is the only region that redeemed his political fortunes in the previous election.
Right.
So he is now brought back at TTV Dinakaran in order to balance. And then we have the surprising thing of an OPS, who is a former chief minister multiple times. He goes to the DMK side. So that Tevar balance they are trying to create in the south, because OPS has his own personal standing. He was able to win parliament election there for his son because of his standing there. And therefore OPS on one side, TTV Dinakaran on this side.
It's really complicated, but you said it very clearly. Thank you very much. Let's just move on to the heavyweights. Now we know in Bengal, every Bengali is a heavyweight. Here there are even super heavyweights. I mean, the stars of stars.
The two big coalitions, there is a total of 26 parties. So instead of going through all of them, what we'll do is that we'll only take
Please go through all of them.
Which has at least 10 seats, and take one person from each of them, except for the big boys. So let's start with the AIADMK. One of the major allies of the AIADMK is the PMK. The PMK is fighting 18 seats. It's a 1 year party. The current president is Dr. Ambuvani Ramadas, who's been a Lok Sabha MP, a Rajya Sabha MP, and also health minister. He's not contesting this time. His wife, Soumya Ambuvani, is contesting from Dharmapuri. So that's one. The other party, of course, is the BJP, which is fighting 27 seats. It's a hell of a lot of seats. Nayana Nagendran from Tirunelveli, he fought 5 elections in Tirunelveli, won 3. He's sitting MLA, but he defected to the BJP in 2017. That is why he's now the BJP president. Then we go to AMMK, which is fighting 11 seats, which is the party of Titi Dinakaran, who's Shashikala's nephew, and thanks to Jai Lalita has been a Rajya Sabha and a Lok Sabha MP. Now the nice thing is that both Mr. Ramdas, Ambuvani's father, and Dinakaran's aunt are both trying to ensure that their successors don't do well. So they put up candidates alongside. Now let's go to the big parties. The AIADMK fighting 166 seats. By the way, the AIADMK has given fewer than 20 seats to women, as has the DMK. So neither of these can be really called women's parties. Edapatti Palaniswamy, he's fought from Edapalli. He's fought, this is his 8th election from the same place. He's won 5, including the last 3. In the last 1 year, a majority of more than 40%. He is minister, he's ex-chief minister 2017 to 2021, and the leader of the opposition in the assembly since 2021. Then there is Mr. E. Shanmugam from Viluppuram. He's a Rajya Sabha MP and a former minister. He lost in Viluppuram in 2021 assembly, won in 2011 earlier in 2016. Now he's back from the Rajya Sabha and wants to fight in the assembly. And the third one is Mr. P. Thangamani from Kumarapalayam. He won the last 3 elections from this seat. The last one he won with a majority of 15%. And he has been a minister in the EPS government of AIADMK, last minister. Then let's go to the DMK's allies. First the allies and the main parties. Congress, as we talked about it, not very much going for them. 28 seats. This is a very difficult name. Selva Parunthumgai. He's standing from C. Parambandur, where Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated. He's been currently the Congress president, and he's an MLA from the same state. He's contested 4 elections, won 2, lost 2. His current majority is just 4%. Finally, the Captain's Party, DMDK. He's got 10 seats, and his wife, Premalata Vijaykanth, is standing for Virudachalam. He's the captain's widow, and it is her first foray into electoral politics. Now again, the big party, the DMK. M.K. Stalin from Kolathur. He's been chief minister since 2021 and the leader of the opposition from 2016 to 21. This is his 10th election. He's lost, he and some of his colleagues, they've only lost two, 1984, 1991. All of them have lost two. 10th election. His current margin is very small, just 70,000 votes. So he shouldn't have too much of a party. Then, of course, I think that's the biggest catch. OPS, who they got, the Thaver face, they got from the AIADMK. OPS has been chief minister 3 times, but only when Jayalalitha has been in trouble. He's her trusted man to keep the seat warm while she's away. OPS from Bodinai Kannur. He was chief minister 3 times for short periods when Jayalalitha was in trouble. But he has been deputy chief minister to EPS. He's won 5 consecutive elections. He's presented 11 budgets. He was expelled from the AIADMK in July 2022. He stayed out of active politics, but in this year in February, he joined the DMK. And I think it is a great benefit to the DMK that it brings a strong Thaver face into the party. Then there is a gentleman of long standing, Durai Murugan from Kattapadi. He's fought 12 elections. He's also lost only 2, the same ones, 1984 and 1991. He's the general secretary of the party and a cabinet minister.
And he's the oldest face in this election at 87 years of age.
Then, of course, there is Mr. P. Thiagarajan, currently IT minister, ex-finance minister from Madurai Central. This is his 3rd election, and he has a majority of 20% last election. And finally, Thangam Thenasaru from Tirucholi. This is his 7th election. He won the last 3 from Tirucholi, last one 35% majority. He's the finance minister since 2023. Year earlier, he was industry minister. Now, before we go to TVK, we will have a little bit of amusement. The symbol of the DMK is the rising sun. And now we have the rising sun, Udyanidhi Stalin. He's the rising sun. He's fought from Chepak. His 2nd election is a small margin of 50%, so he should be comfortable. But the question is, he's a film producer, an actor, a film distributor. He first produced a film in 2008. And who do you think was the actor? Vijay.
My God, really?
Yes. So he and Vijay used to be, I presume not now, very good friends. But he is actually big shot in the film industry. And now we come to the great man himself, Mr. Vijay. He's the TVK leader and founder of the party in 2024, fighting all seats more than any other party. He's fighting 2 seats, Perambalur and Tiruchirappalli East. He is clearly now the biggest star of the screen. His movies gaining from 400 to 360 crores. And he has a film very modestly named Greatest of All Times. So he's doing all right. He decided to form the TVK in 2024. He draws huge audiences, particularly amongst the young. And we will find out on May 4 whether it has worked. Earlier, he used to work with the captain. And he used to be known as the Ilya Thalapathy, which is the small commander. Now that the captain is gone, he's Thalapathy. And that's about it.
Very interesting. So to some extent, earlier you were saying that you have to be schooled by somebody. So he has been schooled by the captain.
He didn't work. Yes, he wasn't schooled by the captain, but he worked with the captain in movies. Yeah. Not in politics. Yes.
Oh, okay.
He did work with the captain in movies.
Fascinating. Wow. Quite a lot of heavyweights.
Yes.
Okay, now let's move on finally into what are the indicators of which way this election is going. First of all, it is a very sensitive state of seats to swings. A small swing of 3% against the DMK and they could lose this election. It's that sensitive. What are the other indicators? One of them are by-elections. Just look at how well the DMK has been doing in by-elections. There have been 3 by-elections and the swing to the DMK in those has been plus 14%. And the swing against the ADMK in these 3 by-elections has been minus 10%. That would be a bit of a worrying indicator for the AIADMK. Other worrying factor for the AIADMK is the local body elections. The DMK literally swept the local body elections way back in 2022. They got almost 5 times higher in the municipal corporation 3 to 4 times higher than the municipality, and in the town panchayats, nearly 3 times higher than the AIADMK-BJP combined. So that's another sign that the DMK would be pleased with and the AIADMK may be worried with, but it was 4 years ago, so things do change in 4 years. Finally, what about the indicators of the recent Lok Sabha elections? Just have a look at that. The AIADMK actually declined sharply and the BJP rises sharply. But first the DMK, it went up from 45 to around 47. The AIADMK dropped from 33 down to 23. That's a drop of 10% between the Assembly and the Lok Sabha elections in 2024. The BJP went up from 2.6 to 11.3. That's a huge improvement. And the PMK remained more or less constant around 4%. Again, slightly positive news for the DMK and the BJP, both doing reasonably well even in the Lok Sabha election.
The behavioral science of Tamil Nadu voters is different when it comes to Lok Sabha and when it comes to Assembly. So the Assembly narrative and the underlying current with respect to the rulers will get to know only a couple of months prior to the elections. We were very clear from the beginning, it is between the Dravidian majors, AIADMK versus DMK. But since a newcomer has to position himself, he has to challenge the ruler. So TVK, Mr. Vijay started positioning himself as the alternate to DMK, wherein DMK believed that that could help them to take away the anti-incumbency vote to their favor so that we will not win. But the political climate and dynamics changed really faster. Now it is between the Dravidian majors. That's what the ground reality is.
Finally, what are the opinion polls saying? Here they are. This is a poll of polls taking several opinion polls together. Remember, the majority is 118. The poll of polls is saying the DMK alliance will get 143. That's quite substantially higher than the halfway mark. The AIADMK with BJP will get 82. The TVK, which is Vijay's party, will get 8 and others 1. So 143, 82, 8 and 1, showing a clear victory for the DMK. But how accurate are polls in Tamil Nadu? Actually, they are very accurate. Accuracy rate over the years, 90%. That's probably because respondents in surveys in Tamil Nadu tell you the truth. 90% is a very good strike rate, right?
Very good, excellent strike rate. Bengal also is about the same, I think.
Oh, Bengal's all honest. Don't
By the way,
laugh.
can I say something? You know, what you said about those local elections, you know, it gives you infrastructure to fight the other elections. If you run in local areas, this just gives you more clout locally. So when the assembly elections come, you're better equipped, relatively.
In between, the things seem to be swinging towards the DMK, but now comes Vijay. But the polls say he's not doing well, but new phenomenon polls are often not very accurate. So do you get that sense that it's swinging towards the DMK overall?
So the initial phase of this campaign, actually the ADMK was not being heard at all. You didn't hear them in the narrative at all. They were almost like not in the election. It was seeming like it is a TVK versus a DMK battle. What you mentioned about a 3% swing can actually put DMK in trouble. The DMK realizes that with Vijay coming, the margin in many of the seats could be very, very narrow, and that's one reason why the 26-party alliance, you want to take no chances, and therefore you're stitching in everyone together so that even those few thousand votes, even if a DMDK brings you only about 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 votes in a particular constituency, it could be decisive, and that's the reason why the DMK has stitched such a huge alliance together of 26 parties.
Right. So who's winning?
So one
simple question.
One interesting thing about Vijay, which I read somewhere, was that when his father went to admit him into school, he did not put down any caste or religion and simply said that he was a Tamilian. So that's why Vijay never, even in his films, he was always Vijay and wasn't Joseph Vijay, which he has become now after he started his campaign. But interestingly, also when he announced the fact that he was going to go solo in this election, the announcement was made at an iftar party. So Vijay is somebody who has, in a sense, no religion, no caste, no ideology, no grassroots organization, yet he is the X factor in this election.
Right. Amazing.
In fact, they tried to use that as a campaign. They started saying, see, this guy is Joseph Vijay, but it backfired. whatever they have done, try to use against Vijay in terms of some incidents in his personal life, all of that seemed to backfire, and that's one reason both the parties largely avoid his mention. They still act as though, like we spoke to Kanimuri, and she said, this is not a three-cornered contest, we still see it as a two-cornered contest.
Right. So who's winning, Dorab? You know, or you want to say publicly?
No, not public.
Sure.
But the polls are normally right, as you were saying. So it looks like it. You know, I think the fire has gone out of, once Jayalalitha went, I think the fire has gone out of the AIADMK, and they've not been able to replace a leader with the same charisma. You know, don't forget that the AIADMK has been living on charisma of 40 to 50 years. First,
MJR, then Jayalalitha.
So they're a charisma-based party. This is a stolid Tamil-dominated party, the DMK. So they have no superstars, virtually none. So that.
Okay, so just to summarize, you can see it's a pretty complicated. Here's one graphic of the key issues. First, anti-incumbency. That goes against the DMK. Second, women's safety being a perceived issue, although in reality, the figures show that this is a very safe state for women. But how important will that be in this election? And that could go against the DMK. The rise of regional parties is key, and that could be a mistake which the AIADMK has made by tying up with the BJP. National parties are declining and regional parties are rising. Then, of course, is this amazing new factor, Vijay, the superstar. Huge crowds, will it convert into votes and will it eat into the anti-incumbency vote? That could help the DMK a lot. The pointers, by-elections, local body elections, and the polls tend to show the DMK. And finally, of course, delimitation has emerged as an important factor in the last stage of this election. So, Dorab, it's 50-50. Anything could happen. Is that what you're saying?
All depends. We'll find out.
All depends. Thank you very much for watching. It is a complex story, and I hope we kind of clarified some of the issues. See you again soon. Thanks for watching Countdown.